Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings. You're tuned in to the Sajdah Saturday Morning Coffee Talks, where we talk about life, love, and business.
O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judgest, and none can judge against Thee, and he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides Thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who in my judgment is the master historian, taught us that of all our studies, history is the most attractive, and it is best qualified to reward the researcher. History is most attractive. Why should history be most attractive? Because history is the recorded time of the human family in its struggle to overcome obstacles. There is no life that is without struggle. The Holy Quran teaches us that man, meaning man and woman, is made to face difficulties. And after difficulty comes ease. But it is history that guides us through difficulty. For if you know how people who had difficulty yesterday got through, and if your difficulty is somewhat similar, then today we also can get through if we follow the guidance of history. This is why Carter G. Woodson and many of our black giants fought for black people to know our history. Because in not knowing our history, we don't have a guide. And without a guide, we are lost. No wonder the Bible. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that history develops the springs and motives of human action, which display themselves most powerfully in the destiny of man. History actually motivates and stimulates human action. Sometimes you may not know what to expect from yourself. But if you only could read the autobiography of someone from among your people who has achieved, then that tells you what is possible to do. Black people in America have labored without understanding the realm of possibility for black people. And because we don't know what is possible for us as a people to achieve, we labor under the misconception that the accomplishments of Caucasian people should be our guide. And as a result, we keep on trying to be like them rather than trying to be ourselves. This is a result of being robbed of history.
Assalamu alaikum, family. Welcome and good morning. Grand rising, everyone. Welcome to the Sajdah Saturday morning coffee talks. Y'all know this is where we talk about life, love, and business. And this is our continuation of our motivational series on the women of the Bible. And today we're going to talk about Queen Sheba, but I want to address something. Let me know in the chat how y'all like our new Sajdah House commercials that have the minister's voiceover talking about the importance of history. Very, very powerful, at least to me. But y'all know I'm about this all the time. So you can't be around me if you ain't about it all the time. But I just want to address one thing. As a business developer and as a business consultant, I got a Facebook link from a friend the other morning. And then when he sent it to me, I had a reaction and we had a little texting dialogue. And then about 7 other people sent the same clip to me. And I don't know if this is something that was going viral. I didn't even look to see where it was from. But let me see if I can play it, because I want to address something before we start here today. Let me see if I can get it. Hold on one second, y'all. We're gonna had another video presented for our presentation, or set up for our presentation today, but let me find this one first. Let's see. Oh, here it is right here. Okay.
That's why we never scale up into profitability, because we're living hand to mouth, mixing the 96% of businesses have less than 2 employees and they don't know how to scale up. You know what? It is baked into our culture to hustle. Well, hustle means you got your hands on everything. If you got your hands on everything, you can't have many things because you only got 2 hands. So whether you're a street hustler, barbering, doing people's tax returns, you're actually doing the work. You're frying the chicken. You're washing the hair. You're doing, but not being. It's a hustle. If you can't walk away from it for 2 months and still have income, it's not a business. It's a hustle. That's why we never scale up into profitability, because we're living hand to mouth, mixing the money from the business into our operating account. Don't have an EIN number. Never set up an LLC or LLP. Don't have an S corporation, C corporation. What we did was create a job, and we hustle. And the problem with that is when it's just you doing the work, you have to run faster, and we're running ourselves to death. 96% of businesses have less than 2 employees and they don't know how to scale up.
Okay, so I think y'all got the gist of that. And I want to address that really quickly. It's also a shameless plug for what it is that I do and can do for you if you're part of that 96%. So Pastor T.D. Jakes said 96% of Black businesses don't have more than 2 employees, and that you're just hustling. If you walk away for 2 months, you don't get income. And he also said that you just created a job. And if I was sitting there in front of my beloved brother T.D. Jakes, I would say to him that he is 100% correct. That's a fact. I can bear witness to that as a business consultant, somebody who is in this community, working with our people as it relates to business, 100% facts. And I would also agree that we do need to learn how to scale. Okay. That's where I come in and I help you take that hustle so that you can scale it. You can create systems, processes, and a way of doing business so that it becomes not only a hustle, but a business, okay, that is something that can be passed on. But let me say this. You got to crawl before you can walk. See, I wouldn't leave that there with it coming off being critical to brothers and sisters so that it becomes a turnoff. Even though it's a fact. See, you can state a fact, but that fact can be a turnoff. What is the solution? Because the bottom line is people are tired. They're tired of all the racism. They're tired of all the sexism. They're tired of all of the discrimination. Did you know that 2/3 of people who work for somebody else have their mental health impacted by a job? And so people are tired. And so because now we have an opportunity to be able to maybe at least own our own job, and the relief from the stress from all of the isms is enough for us to say, I'm just going to go into business for myself. Let me start by owning a job. Let me own my own job. I don't care if I got to fry all the chicken. I don't care if I got to do all the tax returns. I don't care if I got to do all the business. It's better, goddammit, than me facing the emotional trauma that oftentimes we face in these predatory situations on our jobs. Don't get me wrong. Some companies are good. Some companies are really trying, and some people have adapted really well, but a lot of people are tired. They're tired of being held back. They're tired of working twice as hard, 3 times as hard. Damn it, if I'm going to work that hard, I may as well work that hard for myself. Why am I going to bust my backside for you and you don't even treat me right? So I think there's a balance that has to be presented in that. That's why we do these kind of historical series and the Women of the Bible series, so that you can get some motivation and get some relief from the mental trauma that is put out here on you on these daggone jobs. So we got to be careful with that kind of thing. And that would have been my little slight pushback to Pastor T.D. Jakes. Yes, you're right. So now let's devise something that is going to help people learn how to scale. They got the business. They own their job. They've relieved themselves of that trauma. So now let's devise something that will help take them to the other level. And maybe he offered that. I don't know. I didn't see the whole clip. I probably should have looked for it. But I just want to say that because a lot of times we hear these clips and we start feeling bad about ourselves, or we reject. You can't go into a situation trying to help somebody by talking about them first. Yeah, a lot of entrepreneurs are tired. You're right. But they sick of what's happening in these corporate environments. Let me tell you, that stuff is old. And as a business consultant, see, a lot of times when you ain't been in and out, sorry, brother TD Jake, sorry, Charlemagne, but when you ain't been in and out of these companies, you don't know what it's like. See, I've been in and out of these companies. I've even had businesses where I work with people who they themselves were toxic. We send our children into these environments. You got people sexually harassing them. You got environments where there's a male leader or a female leader, and all they do is prey on their employees sexually. They got a history of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 employees that they sleeping with and treating bad. People got to go through trauma just to get money. People are tired. So people say, I'd rather hustle. I'd rather get it on my own. Well, let me tell you something. I can help you turn that hustle into a business. You keep that mindset of being innovative and doing what you got to do, because at least you got some relief from this predator who is always on our backs. And don't get me wrong, some jobs are good, and a lot of times we got to do what we got to do. We got to pay the bills. But there's other times where some people are at a breaking point on their job and they say, I'd rather not be there. I'd rather not fry chicken for a predator, and I'd rather fry chicken for myself so that I can maintain my sanity. The number one thing you got to protect today is you got to protect your sanity. So I'm gonna get off of that. I just want to bring that up. Let me get into spiritual mode. But you know what? It's the same thing when I'm talking about Queen of Sheba. We're gonna get into that right now. I'm gonna show you all. Let's have a conversation about it first. But let me cue up my video so I got it together, and then we'll be able to have the conversation. All right, there it is. So, look, a lot of us can't relate to the Queen of Sheba, King Solomon, or none of it, because we bout this on a part-time basis. See, you can't be bouted on a part-time basis and establish a kingdom. You can't be all about entertainment. Everything that, listen, you come to my house or get in my house and my car are like walking universities. I'm always studying, always learning, wanting to do better, because I expect and believe and am grateful that Allah is going to bless me with more and more and more. So I am always preparing for it. I don't spend most of my time on entertainment and playing games and being silly. I'm a silly person. I like doing it. I like being silly. I like laughing. I like telling jokes, but I'm always educating myself. I'm always working on a way to get myself closer to Allah so that I can prepare myself and better prepare myself for what I believe I showed up on the planet to do. And that's my advice to everyone. So I'm about this mission and about this preparation all the time. It ain't part-time. And you'll see with the Queen of Sheba that she was about it all the time. See, she was about her business. She was about her wisdom. She was about her connection. She was about following the signs of Almighty God, Allah. I don't care if it was in the wind. There are times when I sit outside and just listen to the wind, because I believe there's prosperity and love in the wind. There's times when I walk around and I just say, Allah, I just want to see you. See, we got to be about it all the time. And so, yeah, I'm not mad at you if you done set up a hustle for yourself. I'm really not. But what I do want you to do is you can click the link in the bio. You can book a session with me. I'll give you one free. And anybody here in the chat who's had a session with me will tell you, I'm going to help you find a solution to your problem. I'm going to help you scale that business. And I'm working on a business now that is really going to help to automate your ability to scale your business. All right. I hope y'all got y'all tea or coffee. I got some herbal tea today. Thank you to everybody who gave me a shout out on my birth anniversary. Thank you to everybody who put together the wonderful dinner. Thank you, Sister Aletha, for coordinating that. So y'all know every day up until September 9th, which is my spiritual birth, that's the day I got my ex, This is my spiritual week. So I said I'm going live. We're going to be giving out some great information. And I'm just working on some wonderful stuff for this new year of my life. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. I am a firm believer that every day we grow newer. I don't adopt into the concept of growing older. I believe we grow newer because I'm newer today than I was yesterday. So there's always something new to explore, to find. There's always a way to get better and grow higher. And so each day you should be becoming newer and newer. You're new at this, you're new at that. You should be exploring. So let me get into this. Our Women of the Bible series week, it continues today with the Queen of Sheba, or Bilqis, as she's called in Islam, or Queen Makeda or Makeda. So modern historians identify Sheba with the South Arabian kingdom of Sheba in present-day Yemen and Ethiopia. And just in case y'all didn't know, like I said, she's also Queen Makeda. Makeda, or Queen Sheba, is one of the most well-known and greatest mysteries in the ancient world. She intrigues many with her legendary voyage to seek wisdom by meeting King Solomon of Israel, who became her husband, said to be the wisest man to ever live. Imagine your husband being the wisest man to ever live, and you already wise yourself. What does that say about those dynamics? Now, according to legend, the beautiful, intelligent, and extremely wealthy Makeda was the queen who put King Solomon's wisdom to the test with numerous riddles. And there's a lot of insufficient information out there pertaining to the early life of Makeda. And as her name implies, the Queen of Sheba is thought to have come from either Sheba or Sheba, which is a kingdom in southwestern Arabia, now known as Yemen, or the kingdom of Axum in Ethiopia, or possibly both. I don't know why they make her, as I was studying this, I kept saying, why is it either or? She had a vast kingdom. So there was a lot of people who claimed her. Okay, both countries claim her to this day, kind of own that claim on her, but Ethiopia probably has the strongest claim in terms of how they represent. And even though Ethiopia is a considerable distance from Israel, there's a lot of evidence that the two countries had a lot of interaction. There's also the possibility that she wasn't from Ethiopia. Some people say she was from Nigeria. Now, one of the valuable herbs that she brought to King Solomon, or Suleiman, as we call him in the Holy Quran, was frankincense. That would tell us a lot about where she could have originated, because frankincense is a rare gum-like resin that comes from the Boswellia tree. It is said to have many healing properties, including anti-inflammatory, antiseptic, and even anti-neurotic effects, not to mention its beautiful aroma. The Boswellia tree can be found in North Africa and Yemen before it was transplanted throughout Asia and India. But her impact was powerful on many major religions. Before we go to this video, let me see what y'all saying in the chat. Mom says she got some pumpkin coffee. I heard that, Mom. I love pumpkin spice coffee. That's why I love this time of the year. Regional Sky Girl, thank you for landing and joining us. She said, Assalamu alaikum, family. Safely at home, and prayerful that you are safe and healthy as well. Thank you, sis. Sister Marvelous Marva, yes, so true. Your sanity is paramount. I resigned from a toxic job on the spot. People are tired, y'all. They're tired. They're tired of white supremacy. They're tired of predatory behavior in the workplace. They're tired of supervisors and jealousy and drama. People are sick of it. And let me say this real quick before we go to our video, but I see y'all in the chat. Before we go to our video, I remember when I graduated from college, and I remember growing up, I was very much in grown folks' business growing up. Okay. I always wanted to be a professional. So I was very conscious of the inner dynamics that was happening with my mother and father at their jobs. And I remember learning in school about toxicity and the need for human resources and things like that to jump in and help tell these folks how to deal with people. So I remember that. And I remember when I graduated, my mom talking to me about working where she worked. And I remember in the back of my mind saying, but I don't want to go through what y'all going through. And there's no shade against them because we needed what they went through in order for us to step on their shoulders and move to that next level. But we can't be seeking to go back to what they dealt with. And that's what people are saying nowadays. Look, like I said, I'd rather fry my own chicken than fry chicken for you and be sexually harassed and mentally abused. That's just the facts. So let's get into this video about Sheba. I'm going to put it up as a dual screen because I got some commentary that I want to give. And let me set this up right. So y'all know we've been talking about how love is the key and how powerful love is. And when you look at any of these stories that we've covered, love is the core element that has established kingdoms, destroyed kingdoms, strengthened kings and queens, and developed champions. It's love. So when we're talking about loving yourself and your sanity enough to sacrifice for yourself and love yourself so much that you love what looks like you. That's a word for somebody right there. Love yourself so much that you love what looks like you. Anyway, so in this is a love story. It's kind of like a couple love stories that I love, even though they may not have ended so well. I love the love story between Nelson Mandela and Winnie Mandela. And you really get that when there's a film that is from Winnie's perspective. I think it's called Winnie. She's actually one of my heroes because I could so see myself being her. I love love, and I love that kind of deep spiritual connection and love that I could see myself being her. But her story is a love story. I want you to think about it and go check out the movie. They don't show it when they show you like Mandela, like the one with Idris Elba and the one with Morgan Freeman. They don't really show you the love between the two of them, and the love that sparked between the two of them is what created the explosion that broke up apartheid. It was their love. And then she went on with her powerful love to be the mother of the movement. But the movie is called Winnie. I think it's produced by Pastor T.D. Jakes, and it stars Jennifer Hudson and I forget the brother's name, light-skinned brother. But anyway, yeah, I love me some Winnie Mandela. I was in Africa. I was literally stalking her. I never got to meet her, but they was like, oh, she's going to be at her house. And this is right before she passed. She's going to be at her house in Soweto. We got in the car, went to Soweto. She was not there. They said, oh, she's going to be somewhere else in Soweto. Got in the car, went to that place in Soweto. She had just left. Then they said, oh, she's going somewhere in Johannesburg. We got to Johannesburg with so much traffic. She had just left. But I got to be in her house and touch her bed and stuff and just put my feet on the ground where she walked. So that was exciting. But then let me tell you something. A lot of people don't realize that Django was a love story. Because see, we so busy looking at all the stuff, other stuff, but Django was a love story. Go back and look at it. But anyway, this is a love story. So we're gonna look at that today. So check this love story out. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear this.
And
Okay,
in the ancient kingdom of Sheba, where the winds carried secrets and the stars whispered stories, there reigned a queen whose beauty was matched only by her wit. Known as Bilqis, but revered as the Queen of Sheba. Legend told that her eyes, like pools of liquid gold, hold within them the secrets of the universe, and her voice, like a melody from the heavens, soothes the soul and stirs the heart.
all right, sisters. We're talking about eyes, voice, words that soothes the soul. That's what kind of sister our sister was. She knew how to talk, how to speak, how to be a leader, and she presented, this is what I'm getting from this, like a queen, an attractive queen. All right, let's keep going.
Her touch like a warm breeze, caressing the skin and igniting the senses with a fire that cannot be quenched. Such was the charm of Queen Sheba. Her kingdom was awash with riches beyond measure, where gold flowed like water and precious gems sparkled like stars in the night sky.
Gold flowed like water. Are y'all envisioning this? I'm stopping this because I want you all to go there with this in your imagination. I want you to visualize this. It's just gold flowing like water and gems sparkling like stars in the night sky. I'm thinking about those being diamonds and precious gems that are just sparkling. We're talking about massive wealth from a queen who was wealthy herself. They talking about her persona, her eyes, her skin, her touch, her words.
Palaces of white stone rose high above the treetops, each more magnificent than the last, their walls adorned with tapestries woven with threads of gold and silver. But the true measure of the kingdom's wealth lay not in its material possessions, but in the hearts of its people.
All right. So it's one thing to have wealth and flaunt it and be a predator, but what is the condition of the people around her and the people who lived in the kingdoms where she ruled? So I don't believe they called her wealthy just because of her material possessions. And you'll see as this video goes on that this was a highly spiritual woman. She was a god. Let's keep going.
For ancient Kush was a kind and generous people, eager to share their riches with all. Queen of Sheba was fascinated by the stories she had heard about a king named Solomon who was famed for his wisdom and wit.
Wait, why did they make Solomon look all fine in the the AI is funny. But I want to go back to that. She's hearing about, let's set this up. Here she is, right? She's this beautiful, amazing, powerful, sought after woman. So you know there were powerful men who sought her out. But she's hearing about Solomon or Suleiman, who is the wisest man ever. And she's hearing about them and she's fascinated. People are coming back. Remember, the traders are the ones that moved around back in those days. So the traders are coming back and they're probably giving her a report and telling her, but let me tell you about Solomon. And so you'll see she starts to hear about him and she's fascinated by him.
Wealth. The whispers of an old owl had brought news of the stunning queen to Solomon. Legends.
All right, I got to stop it again. So she's hearing about these stories about him, okay? And Solomon, who is wise and he knows the language of the birds. Why do we know that? Because the owl came and told him about the queen of Sheba. and how she basked in the warm glow of the moon, and that she was illuminated by the sun god because she was a sun worshiper. So he's hearing about her. This is a love affair where she's hearing about him, he's hearing about her. They're both getting curious. He's so powerfully connected to her that the earth elements and the creations around him are telling him about her. This is powerful, powerful, powerful love.
Said her kingdom basked in the warm glow of the moon, illuminated by the sun god Ra. Her kingdom was steeped in sun worship. King Solomon, intrigued by her radiance and a desire to share his wisdom with her, sent a letter to her, inviting her to embrace a more divine path of Jehovah, the master of time and space, and the embodiment of all that is just and righteous in the world. His wisdom and knowledge are infinite, his love and mercy boundless, and his justice and wrath are fearsome to behold. Solomon enticed her with a letter.
All right, so they thinking about each other. They done heard about each other. Probably, little messages going back and forth. So he writes her. He writes her a letter. And in his love letter, he talks about God and a better path for her to be on than worshiping the sun. He talks about God as the master of time and space. Can you imagine receiving a love letter from a man, or a man writing you a letter talking to you about the master of time and space? And can you imagine receiving that letter knowing that you've been thinking about him too? This is deep.
My queen, the secrets of my heart can no longer remain unspoken as they dance wildly through my mind. Day and night, I must confess my deep admiration for you, even though our paths have never crossed. From the very first whisper of your name, I have been enchanted by your essence. You possess a beauty and allure that is beyond compare.
Okay, stop right there. He ain't never seen her. But he said, you possess a beauty and an allure that is beyond compare. He said the sound of her name did something to him. He's in love with what the spirit of the universe has told him about her. He's in love, with the messages and the things that people have told him about her, but that kind of love comes from Allah himself. God had to make him love her in that way, and he never saw her before. There was no email. There was no pictures. He said, you possess a beauty and an allure that is beyond compare. He wouldn't know that. And Solomon is a wise, righteous man. He wouldn't know that, nor would he say that if God didn't tell him that. Talk to me in the chat.
Yet, as a man of wisdom, I cannot help but wonder if there is more to you than meets the eye. Are you not more than just a mere mortal, but a child of the divine? I see in you a kindred spirit, and I implore you to consider the path of righteousness that Jehovah has laid before us. Beloved, I implore you, do not leave me in this world without knowing if my affections are shared.
Wait, Solomon wrote all of this, and then he said, look, don't leave me hanging. Beloved, don't leave me out here in the world without letting me know that my feelings are shared. He done poured his heart out. He done taught her about God. He said, there's more to you than meets the eye. I know your beauty. I feel it. And this is how you know he's acting on faith. You know how when Allah tells you to do something and you jump out there and you do it and you don't have no evidence that it's going to return anything. You don't know what's going to happen. All you can say is, oh, Lord, please don't leave me hanging. I know that reality all too well. And Solomon said, Please let me know. Don't leave me hanging. Don't leave me hanging.
I will wait with a heart full of hope for your response. Yours always, a devoted admirer.
In response, the queen, known as Bilqis, sent a lavish assortment of gifts to the king's court, hoping to win his favor.
Okay, so he writes the letter. He tells her, don't leave me hanging. So she sends some gifts to him as a gesture and showing him, basically, I'm not leaving you hanging. I'm feeling what you feeling too. There's something there. And she's probably thinking to herself, I need to see him. I need to meet him. I got to touch him. Something's up, because Allah is talking to me about you too. So Allah is talking to you. He's sending the owls and making the wind blow, and everybody's sending messages. Well, I'm getting the same thing. So here's some gifts. I'm going to send you some beautiful gifts just to show you how I feel and that you're not alone, because she had to be feeling the same thing. Like, man, I don't want him to feel like he's alone, because his letter brought me comfort, because I've been thinking about him too.
But Solomon, with his unyielding devotion to the divine, remained unmoved by the offerings.
Now, wait a minute, Solomon. You done wrote me this letter. You got me excited. I send you some gifts, and you unmoved? You unmoved? Okay. What does that mean? You unmoved. I thought we was in this together. I thought Allah was communicating with us and we was operating beyond our intellectual capacity. We both out here on a limb, but you unmoved by my offerings?
Determined to meet this king and test his wisdom, the queen embarked on a long and perilous journey through.
So Queen Sheba said, I sent you the gifts. You acting shady? I'm on my way. I'm coming over there. I'm getting ready to come see you. It's a long, treacherous journey through the desert, but I'm coming to Jerusalem. I'm about to come see you, because I don't understand now what's going on. I'm on my way.
Through the treacherous terrain of the desert to reach Jerusalem, the seat of Solomon's kingdom. She followed the whispers of the wind and the call of her heart.
Come on now. She said, I'm on my way. God said, I don't know if she knew the way or not, but she followed the whispers of the wind and the call of her heart. As I told y'all, the elements was speaking and giving them this love. You can sit down and feel the emotion for you in the wind. Try it one day. Sometimes when you're driving, don't always have the windows up if you can be in a safe space, and let the wind blow in your face. Or sit outside and let the wind blow and see what the wind says to you. She following the whispers of the wind. So imagine you sitting down outside and you feel like the wind is saying something to you about this man. You send him these gifts, y'all writing letters, and you say, you know what, I'm on my way. Because I don't know if I like that response. I need a little bit more.
Her quest led her to the fabled land of Jerusalem. Upon arrival, the queen was greeted with great ceremony and was taken to Solomon's palace, where he entertained her with a lavish banquet. The two conversed and debated, with the queen posing difficult questions and riddles, testing Solomon's intelligence and wit.
Okay, so now we over here. She done got there. They having a banquet. They having great conversations, but she ain't no pushover. So she's challenging him, because remember, she's wise too. She's a god herself. So she's challenging him. She wants to see if he really is who he say he is, or who they say he is. She's trying to see what kind of mind he got. So she's mining his mind. She's up in his head, trying to see how it functions, because that's the only way that a woman like Sheba could fall in love with a king, a man like Solomon, is she got to get in his head and see what's to this mind. He can't give her more than what she got. Remember, she got gold flowing like water in her kingdom. She got jewels and gemstones that sparkle like the stars. She comes from massive wealth. So he can't give her anything and make her fall in love. God had to make her fall in love with him. And now that she's in his face, she got to get up in his head because she wants to fall in love with his mind. Come on, somebody.
Much to her surprise, Solomon proved himself true to being the master of wisdom. There was a mystical connection between them, a bond that transcended time and space. And so, they talked for hours, their words weaving a tapestry of wisdom and wonder. The Queen of Sheba was spellbound by the man, for she had never before encountered someone so captivating and alluring.
She fell in love with him because of his mind. She was captivated by his mind. She was, they said, spellbound by his mind. She never met him, but they talked for hours. Can you imagine? Wouldn't it be cool if we had a transcript of that conversation? Come on.
She was struck by his gentle stare, which seemed to pierce through her soul with its warmth and kindness.
What?
Every word that flowed from his lips was like honey, sweet and intoxicating, and she found herself hanging on his every syllable. But it was not just his words that enamored her. It was his wisdom and intelligence that shone like a brilliant star in the night sky. He was a man of great depth and insight, who seemed to possess a knowledge and understanding of the world that surpassed that of any mortal.
He was wise. He had knowledge and understanding that seemed to surpass that of any mortal. She knew once she finished talking to him, like, this man is a god. This man is a god. And I'm in love. That's what she's saying. They both sitting there wealthy. They got all kind of stuff. But it ain't that. See, and she had to be a wise woman to recognize this wise God. Even to be worthy to be attracted to one another meant that they had to be on a certain level. Because God ain't going to put somebody who's on a level 10 with somebody who's on a level 2. If God was with both of them and spoke to them through the universe and through his creations about one another, that means that there was some compatibility. And mind you, Solomon already had 100 and something other wives.
She was entranced by his ability to see through the facade of the world and discern the truth.
She was attracted to him because he could see through the facades of the world and discern the truth. See, listen, a lot of us can't relate to this because we're not necessarily building a kingdom. But when you got a kingdom and things to protect, your man got to have that kind of wisdom. Your woman got to have that kind of wisdom. You know, he's probably taken wives in different areas that they conquer, you know, to build bridges in those areas. I'm not saying that they were all concubines. They called them wives. But Sheba, he fell deeply in love with her. But it's a divine, universal love guided by Almighty God Allah.
That lay beneath. As the days went by, the queen found herself completely possessed by Solomon's charm and charisma, and he to hers. It was on the last night of her visit that something truly magical happened. As the moon rose high in the sky, Solomon led her to his chambers, and there, under the watchful gaze of the stars, they surrendered to the passions of love that had brought them together. As the time came for the queen to return to Sheba, she was torn between her love for Solomon and her duty to her people. She knew that her kingdom needed her, but she also knew that her heart belonged to Solomon. In the end, The queen made the difficult decision to return to Sheba, leaving behind the man she loved. But she knew that their bond would endure. She returned to her kingdom, where she bore Solomon a son, Menelik, whose mystical powers would change the course of history. Menelik I founded the Solomonic dynasty under one God, Jehovah. This was the end of sun worship in Cush. He united various Ethiopian tribes and founded the city of Addis Ababa. Under Menelik's rule, Ethiopia experienced significant territorial expansion and military conquests. He is credited with conquering neighboring regions such as Shua, Damat, and Gajem, and establishing a strong central government. This colossal legacy is the story of Solomon and Sheba, of two souls brought together by fate and guided by divine love, inspiring generations with the power and beauty of true love. All glory unto God, his love endures for all eternity. In the ancient kingdom of Sheba.
Wow, wow, and wow. How beautiful was that? How beautiful was that? Just amazing. Look, I've been talking. I didn't even realize. I actually was going to go through the Holy Quran and talk about what the Quran says about her, but I think y'all got the gist of it. I got to remember the goal here. The goal here is for us to pick up the essence of these people. Just like we got the essence of Moses and Zipporah, we want to pick up the essence of Solomon and Sheba, and you all can go and study. Go to Surah 27, the Naml, section 3, which is the history of Solomon. And it speaks of her there. It doesn't call her by name, but you'll recognize it from the stories. And just do some studying. But the idea is for us to pick up that essence so that we can function on that type of vibrational level and not on the vibrational level of Yaqub and his made man. We got to rise above that. The minister says, rise above emotions into the thinking of God. Emotions is a vibration. So rise above the vibration of the emotions of Yaqub and his made man. This is my interpretation, into the thinking and the vibration of God. And that's what we saw there in the story of Queen Sheba. Let me know in the chat what y'all think. I'm curious to see what y'all think because y'all quiet. I see Marvelous Marva said something. She said, this is a divine courtship. Sister Dawn said, I've always loved the story of Queen Makeda and King Solomon. Yeah, it's just a beautiful, beautiful story. But I think we got the gist of it today. I think we got it from modern times and we went back, and you all can go and study. You can look at, there's plenty of videos on YouTube where you can go a little bit deeper into the study. All of the primary religions, not primary, let me say it this way. All the Abrahamic religions have a story about Solomon and Sheba. Different names. You have it in Judaism, you have it in Christianity, you have it in Islam. It's even in the Yoruba tradition, the Coptic religion. And so this is a divine connection and a divine interaction. And I just want us to bring it home. I don't want it to be a story that is out there outside of us. I want us to bring it on home, bring it to ourselves. Regional Sky Girl said, I'm in the kitchen cooking right now, listening. I'm like, wow. Yeah, it's beautiful. Just beautiful. Go back and listen to this video. I'm going to put it out here for a replay so you all can check it out. All right. Any questions, any comments about Solomon, Sheba, Queen Makeda? Let me know. You all know we're still working towards the completion of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House. Sponsorship opportunities are still available. We definitely need your support from a sponsorship standpoint. History is very, very important. It is the greatest at rewarding the researcher. It's the most attractive. Let's see, Sister Dawn said, Randall Robinson also wrote a great story that incorporated and gave a history of Queen Sheba about Makeda. Okay, that works. And so yeah, let's get into our history. Let's study our history. We know history matters. And it's important that we build these edifices. Many of you know I've started a preservation consulting business. Sister Aletha says, yes, divinely beautiful. And their union bore a son who ended the sun worship, polytheism in their regions. Powerful, very, very powerful, very powerful, beautiful. Look at how God came to her, and she didn't even know him or believe in him. It was Solomon who brought that to her. And story has it that their son, when he was 22 years old, Solomon had given Sheba or Queen Makeda a ring. And so he took that ring at 22 and went back to his father and said, I'm your son, proved it with the ring, and was taught by his very wise father, and ended up going back to his kingdom after having been offered to stay in Jerusalem. He went back to the kingdom and yes, helped to end polytheism and establish this kingdom even further. So it's just super deep and super beautiful. So anyway, preservation consulting, we are working on preserving the legacy of Reverend Dr. Lewis Rawls and Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church. That's our first project for the preservation consulting. I'm still doing business consulting. So if you're part of that 96% that was talked about in that video with T.D. Jakes and Pastor T.D. Jakes and Charlemagne the God, then I'm your person. I'm your girl, because I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you all in that 96 percentile to go from hustle to scaling. I just had a coaching session with Sister Dawn and her sons about their wonderful business, and we began the process of putting together the steps so that they can scale and expand. And if you're in that position, don't feel bad. There's a way out. You may feel overwhelmed. And maybe you said, look, I just had to escape. I had to escape the predator. And don't get me wrong, some jobs are good. Some people, some are bearable, and some are those that you can hang in there with. And some companies really do try. But then there's others where they're predatorial. So that predatory behavior passes down and it rolls downhill. You know how they say ish rolls downhill? It rolls downhill. And we got to hurry up and get this stuff established, because we've spent all this money teaching and training our young, beautiful children. And then we send them out in the world where they're taught in the world by the influences of the world that certain behaviors win. And when they're out there being challenged, and their Islam, their Christianity, their Pan-Africanism is being challenged, a lot of us like to say, well, we taught them, we hope they'll win, we hope they'll overcome, but we can save them a lot of pain if we can build a pipeline, and we can save ourselves a lot of pain, because oftentimes the problem is finding good employees. You saw where it said that Queen Sheba, she had the hearts of her people that followed her were so beautiful that they were generous and loving. We don't have that kind of autonomous rulership over people. You're going to be hiring people who are predators, hiring people who are undercover molesters and all kind of stuff. But if we do our part in scaling our businesses up, we do our part in training our children, then we have our own pipeline. Listen, when I was in college and I started interviewing, most of the white guys and white girls that were interviewing, that were graduating with me, they already knew where they were going to work because they were part of a pipeline. Somebody had already tapped them as teenagers and said, this is where you're going to work. This is what you can do. Well, guess what? When we're looking to scale those businesses, and I tell you, you look like you're going to need 4 employees for this, you should be able to tap into the educational pipeline of children and students that think like you and move like you. They should already be primed and ready. So you should be able to tap right into them and roll them right into your conscious company, your business. But first, we got to get the policies, we got to get the procedures set up, we got to get the corporate culture and the environment right, we got to get your energy right. So there's some work to do, but we can do it. It can be done. And let me tell you something, the mere fact that you're not dealing with the predator the every day is going to help accelerate that growth and that development. So, all right, family, happy Saturday to everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening this morning. Don't chip and dip me. Y'all know what you got to do. Don't chip and dip me. I'm giving out all this wonderful information, or at least I think it's wonderful. Got the champions up on early on a Saturday morning. So make a donation, go out there, go to sajdahhouse.com. You can purchase your coin. I'm just looking over here in the chat. You can Cash App us. It's all going across the bottom of the screen. Cash App us, $MOEtoday, MOETODAY. But support the movement. Support. We ain't got that far to go. But I'm ready. And I know y'all ready. But you all just have to hear about it when y'all get on here with me. I'm about this 24 hours a day. It's my life. So, well, that's it. That's all I'm saying. All right, family. Thank you all in the chat. Thank you for participating. I appreciate you all. Love you all. Thank you for the birth anniversary well wishes. And thank you for celebrating with me from now until September 9th. All right. Peace and blessings, family. Happy Saturday. Do something nice for somebody today. And don't just jump off. I got a couple commercials for y'all. All right. Peace and blessings. Greetings, conscious entrepreneurs. Add the Mind of an Entrepreneur show to your Roku TV lineup and catch up on past episodes of all your favorite MOEtoday shows.